Please give us a little peace, shooting her once in the chest. Jasmine, terrified by the barrage of gunshots, ran into the street for safety. Matthews chased her down and shot her in the head, killing her as well. The devastation was unbearable for the family as two women were lost in a matter of moments due to a senseless act of violence. Matthew's grandmother called 911 as soon as the violence ensued. When authorities arrived, Shanta's mother and sister were already pronounced dead at the scene. Shanta, however, was still alive, albeit gravely injured, and was rushed to Advocate Christ Medical Center. Matthews managed to flee the scene before police arrived, and despite a nationwide search, he would remain at large for months. Once Matthews fled, Chicago authorities went on high alert, launching a full-scale investigation. Shanta's mother and sister's tragic deaths were met with widespread grief and calls for justice. Shanta was hospitalized and went through multiple surgeries due to the gunshot wounds she sustained. However, the damage done to her body was significant. She was left paralyzed from the waist down. The impact on her life was devastating. She continued to undergo medical treatments and therapy while still grieving the loss of her family members. In the meantime, Matthews was on the run, but his time in hiding would soon come to an end. After months on the run, John Matthews was finally captured in Burlington, Iowa, following a car accident. Authorities had been searching for him since the horrific triple murder on June 22, 2020, when he took the lives of Shanta Harris's mother and her sister. Matthews had managed to evade capture for months, but his arrest marked the beginning of a long-awaited step toward justice. Matthews' capture came after he gave authorities a false name following the car accident, but the truth eventually came out. After admitting his identity, he was extradited back to Chicago, where he was charged with multiple counts of first-degree murder. In the meantime, Shanta Harris, who had survived the initial shooting, was in the hospital, dealing with the aftermath of her severe injuries. But tragedy would strike again. Sadly, just 1 month after Matthew's arrest, Shanta was found unresponsive and passed away from complications caused by the gunshot wounds she had sustained. The final days of Shanta Harris's life were filled with pain and heartbreak. After the shooting, she faced a long road of recovery as the bullet fragments lodged in her chest and the fractures to her ribs and spine left her paralyzed from the waist down. Despite the best efforts of doctors, Shanta's condition deteriorated. The trauma that Shanta and her family endured is unimaginable. Not only did they lose two beloved family members, Shanta's mother and sister, but Shanta also had to come to terms with the reality of her own mortality. She was a mother, a daughter,